Virgil, $10 says, show me your motivation, send in a donation, and let's pass it over to Waifu for Devil May Cry 3. Hey, Waifu, show us how it's done.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I am Waifu, and I'm going to be running Devil May Cry 3, the best game of all time, as Virgil, the most motivated weeb of all time. And I'm joined by my friends, Maxylobes, Decosmic, and Vash. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Decosmic, and I speedrun the entire Devil May Cry series.
What's going on, everybody? My name is VashTSB. I used to speedrun DMC4, and then I got a clue.
Yo, I'm Maxylobes. I ran Fear last night. I also run DMC, but only the first one because I'm not cool enough to run the whole thing like Cosmic.
All right, so we're going to be playing as Virgil, who is the side character added in the special edition. This fool is busted, and time is going to start. We got coatless Virgil, I know that, which is good, because coatless Virgil's where it's at. Time is going to start right in 3, 2, and 1.
Okay, so just gonna start it off here. This character is really, really strong, like Waifu said. Virgil starts out with 3 weapons as opposed to Dante. Dante at the start of the game has only got his trusty sword and his pistols. Virgil's got his katana, he's got his father's sword that he dual wields with the katana, and he's got some snazzy gauntlets that glow a nice little white and black there. He also starts out with his Devil Trigger, which is a powered up state that increases not only his run speed, but also his attack power and his attack speed. And he does a lot of damage. A lot of the wave clear that you're going to be seeing Waifu do is either going to be with the katana, which is called Yamato, or it's going to be with the gauntlets there, those punches that you're seeing as well. Virgil just really doesn't... He also has a teleporting system, which are called tricks, and his style is called the Dark Slayer. If you played as Dante in this game, you remember that Dante has 4 styles in this game. You can unlock 2 later on. Virgil only has 1 style. And it just upgrades different types of teleports. So most of what you're gonna be seeing Waifu doing is, closing the gaps with those teleports and then just really quickly just mopping up all the rest of the enemies.
A lot of what this game is about is breaking it up into combat sections and then mobility sections, but they all use the same toolkit. And much of what Waifu is going to be trying to do is use the weapon switching that Cosmic alluded to swap from the different combos that are baked into the weapons to basically respond to a situation, but also keep him out of long animations, because that's slow. We don't need to be slow. So it also depends on what's around Virgil. If Virgil is wanting to knock away demons like he just did there, it's better to go with Yamato, because it has a wider sweeping AoE knockback kind of thing for grouping up demons. If he's only fighting one target, it's smarter to use something with a quicker, smaller arc like Beowulf, for example. So this is our first mini-boss, the Grim Reaper, and what Waifu is doing here is something that all DMC characters can do. It's called jump canceling. What you saw him do is you chain a series of attacks together, but as you get close to the demon, you can cancel out of the animation by using their body kind of like a springboard for a jump. There's a lot of cool techniques with it, and it's quite APM and execution heavy. You basically have to press the jump button when you feel like you're close enough to the target, and that's one of the things that takes Virgil's already high DPS and brings it up to a level even higher, and Waifu will be using and abusing it for the whole run.
Yeah, he's also going to be using Virgil's projectiles, which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but we'll get into it now. They are called the Summon Swords, and the unique thing about Virgil compared to Dante is that he doesn't have any sort of shooting animation that he's locked into while he's shooting the swords out. You see those white, blue swords that are there, bluish, whitish swords that are shooting out of Virgil's body. You can do these in conjunction with all other actions. So if you're weapon switching, you're jump canceling, you're just attacking on the ground in general, you can still shoot all those swords. So Waifu has changed his control scheme up a little bit to allow him to have both Devil Trigger and Summon Swords on shoulder buttons so that he can do attacks with his melee while also doing Devil Trigger stuff and shooting the swords the entire time. So he doesn't lose any sort of uptime on them. And we're actually moving into the first boss here. Cerberus, if you want to go with that, Vash.
Well, I will, but really quick, what you see in the upper right corner is the economy of this game, red orbs. You use them to buy items, but also upgrades. So here, Waifu's powered up the Blicky. We got the swords and they're powerful. And it's nice because you could be firing them, like Cosmic said, all the time. So Virgil's a very high APM character. He's doing all these things to the first real boss. This is a gatekeeper, Cerberus. And this is what sort of solidifies Virgil's identity. He's kind of like hungry hippos with a shotgun. He does a lot of damage, and you never stop doing something. You want to be aggressive, even though, you know, sure, Cerberus may be dangerous, but you're much more dangerous. And Devil Trigger, something that Cosmic mentioned earlier, also heals you. And you get Devil Trigger back by dealing damage to enemies. So it really does encourage you to be a wrecking ball.
Absolutely. And so you saw him actually pick up those purple orbs there. Virgil has some like really slick back hair. And between power, which is Virgil's thing, and pomade, which is the other thing, they both start with PO, which is, you know, a purple orb. So we have to buy a lot of those throughout the course of the run. And he just bought 2 of them in order to increase the amount of time that he can spend in Devil Trigger. Like I said before, you're powered up the entire time that you're in Devil Trigger, and being able to build it fast with something like Yamato, and then being able to spend a lot of time in it not only will allow you to increase your movement speed throughout longer sections of movement, but it will also allow you to indirectly increase the amount of uptime on damage as well as just overall damage output.
Another thing that's important to note is that as demons die in these encounters, other ones will spawn in to take their place, but this isn't happening randomly, and it's not happening on a timer. So in some cases, Waifu is able to select targets and position himself relative to where he knows replacement demons are going to spawn in.
Yeah, and so basically, like, the way that the combat functions is that everything is going to be in exactly the same place, but the enemy AI is a bit random. Thankfully, with Virgil, you actually do so much damage that the enemy don't usually have a chance to do anything random, and you get to kill them before they go anywhere. Especially when you can jump cancel them and get them stun locked in corners and stuff. Like that.
An interesting thing about Virgil, I mean, kind of just relative across all of the games, is that he really outpaces a lot of, I guess, what the intended like way to clear a game is. So he ends up having these really execution-heavy runs because you end up not having to deal with a lot of the things that some of the other characters do. Just because you're dealing so much damage the entire time. So the run, you know, overall is like super consistent and super execution heavy as a result.
So a lot of things have been happening for like the past few minutes, and we've not really been acknowledging what we're doing or what this strange place is. So the special edition version of this game, this originally had like a whole story with cutscenes and all that. You're a completely different character, Dante, who's red. I completely forgot this was Gigapete, dude. Dude, slow down. Anyway.
Fast character, dude. Fast character.
The weird thing is that the character that Waifu is playing as, you're trying to kill in the base version of the game. The developers had a great idea of turning their primary rival boss into the playable character of their re-release. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to ascend this tower that popped up outside of our apartment and to basically run this dude through.
But now that we get to play as him, we realize that he is actually broken. And since we're playing as him, that means that all of the cutscenes are automatically skipped. Also, I didn't get an S-rank rare, which is kind of unfortunate, but it'll be okay. So, Virgil, Dante's run, the economy is actually not very important because he doesn't have that many things that are useful to buy. This is primarily because in Dante's run, you don't get Devil Trigger until mission 8, whereas Virgil, you start with it immediately. And because of this, you want to buy as many purple orbs or pomade as possible ASAP with Virgil. And there are actually moves that we're going to buy with Virgil, whereas Dante, the only thing we buy is Stinger. And I'm going to destroy this clown real quick.
Yeah, so speaking of clowns, Cosmic, that was a great pomade joke earlier. A really important thing to note of why Waifu really benefits from getting a lot of Devil Trigger. When you're in Devil Trigger, you're less susceptible to getting knocked back when a demon does hit you. Since you're so aggressive and you're always in danger's face, you're bound to get swiped a couple of times. It's just a reality of how the game works. And when that happens, if you're in midair, you'll get like thrown back, like you just got bodied hard. That's slow. We don't like that. So we use Devil Trigger to, again, force ourselves to be as aggressive safely for as long as possible to maintain that forward momentum throughout the run. And the thing about the tower that's kind of cool is, well, I don't know if it's kind of cool, but the way the tower works is you go around collecting key items to use sort of like Resident Evil in a way. You go through this place that has these small artifacts, and right now we got like a trident. We're just going to slam it into this thing. That's somehow a key. Going to give us another thing that's somehow a key that lets us walk on air. It's weird.
It's definitely
game's
the
not
tower in
supposed to make
general is definitely like an indicator of how to incorporate backtracking well into your level design. The tower, true. Shout outs to Summer. And it's the tower will like eventually change up a little bit. You'll recognize some familiar areas as you go through it, but by and large, the tower is like, for all intents and purposes, kind of something that just is dynamic and almost living to an extent.
Another important thing to note about the jump canceling is because you're not really supposed to be able to do aerial attacks that fast, aerial attacks are balanced in a way that they're very, very strong. So that's why our damage output is so high when jump canceling. Like, let's say we're Goomba stomping enemies to death with the dive kicks, or we're doing Yamato raves where you pull out the weave sword over and over again. And both of those are super, super strong, and they also give extra DT. So you do get Devil Trigger or DT when you attack enemies, as you do when you taunt or get hit by enemies. But those aerial attacks actually give you more DT than most other attacks. And since you're attacking so fast, that means that your DT is going to start skyrocketing. And you saw that on the clown fight. I just turned him into mincemeat because Virgil's dive kick is so strong, but I was able to basically stay in DT almost the whole fight, even though I used it all, just because you get it back so fast when JCing that fast.
Something that Waifu isn't really acknowledging here is that by jumping off of this pillar, he can put himself in the load zone for other enemies to spawn, so they engage him faster, so we can just get them out of the way ASAP.
And these two enemies here, Agni and Rudra, this is a double boss fight. Basically what you have to do is parry their swords out of their hands in order to knock one of them down, so that you can then sort of juggle between the two of them being knocked down. Virgil is a little bit awkward to do this with. With Dante, it's pretty easy, but there we go. Okay.
It's such a satisfying sound, too.
Oh, yeah, man. The washing machine, absolutely. Take them to the cleaners.
Perfect. Very good.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That fight is probably the only fight in the whole game that's legitimately harder with Virgil, because the strat with Dante is to use Royal Guard to release the sword swings, but Virgil doesn't really have any super good options for parrying their attacks. So usually you're going to want to do that spinny attack that I was doing there, and you have to time it rather precisely, otherwise you're just going to get hit anyways. And you have to temper your sword swings as well, or the summon swords, because you can actually stun them with the summon swords, and that will cause them to stop swinging, and then they will actually run away from you because they get really scared.
Yeah, so a little bit of movement change up here. The Dark Slayer's style just leveled up, and Waifu gained a new ability, which is called Trick Up. It just allows you to teleport straight up in the air, as well as straight towards an enemy as well, if you're locked onto an enemy. This is going to change up the movement a little bit, as well as him grabbing the little dash there with the sword, which is called Stinger. So we're going to be doing Stingers into Trick Up dive kicks. Once enemies are not around. Here we're just going to run, through in Devil Trigger. But in a lot of the sections where you don't have Devil Trigger, you're instead going to be looping Stingers into those different dive kicks. And this is just a little bit of movement optimization. It's obviously faster than just doing the dive kicks on their own. Stinger also provides a lot of utility as far as movement, because these short distances here, you see where he's kind of just dashing to the doors. If you had to walk, it would just, you would just lose seconds. So Stinger, its role in the run is mostly just movement, but what it does really well. So
Yeah, and we just spent a little bit of downtime here while I come up to fight what would be Virgil. So I'd say this is a great time for a couple donations.
Sure.
Well, first, I want to say we hit $600,000.
Oh,
Thank you
good.
so
So
much.
thanks to everybody. And we also have a $100 donation from Asura saying, looking forward to this exciting Devil May Cry 3 run and hopefully the cutscene % run of Wand of Gamelon later. You got this, Coatless Virgil.
Really does.
He does. He absolutely does.
Got time for one more, I would think.
Yeah, one more.
All right, so Salmon Mandela says, donates $50 and says, waifu coming in with a big dramatic scene and stealing the spotlight at GDQ. Good luck, and let's beat cancer.
I'll take that one over some motivation posting, my guy. So their
Virgil memes are too
waifu,
strong.
waifu picked up the absolute blicky, the gat, holy waters. So these guys are demons. For some reason, they leave, I don't know, the equivalent of a nuke just laying in the corner. And what that will let us do is it lets us burn through some late game fights that are both inconsistent and consistently annoying. What the holy water does is it's like a big AoE burst, and on this difficulty, it more or less erases anything it touches.
Yeah, also, speaking of the difficulty, this run is on normal. It may not look like it because all the enemies just fall into pieces, but that's just how strong Virgil is, actually.
Yeah.
Like, the combat is so fast, in fact, that most of the time you use your devil trigger to have faster movement in sections where there aren't enemies, because it doesn't significantly speed up the fight to use devil trigger on the fights, which is kind of crazy because it's the exact opposite in something like Dante's run.
Yeah, it's even one of those things where, like,
That's faster, by the way.
it's RNG manipulation, dude. I don't know what you're
that's
trying to get a
fine.
seed.
Mistakes? No.
So the enemies that you also saw there with the coffins that Waifu was fighting earlier, normally they'd be a little bit more of a problem, but their whole thing is that they can actually, if they slam the coffin in the ground, they can summon more enemies out of them. So obviously, like, if that happens, then as Vash would say, that's slow. We don't like that.
We don't like
so
that.
we want to make, we just want to kill them immediately. Fortunately, Beowulf just absolutely is a truck. This is just Tonka Truck Virgil, just coming in hot.
He's kind of a guerrilla character. You know, if we were to liken this to his fighting game version, you know, he's kind of Unga.
True, yeah. Unfortunately, neutral goes away.
Oh, definitely. What is that? We got big steppy, air steppy.
Air steppy.
The only neutral I need is neutral trick, dude. So, which unfortunately they took away for, but it's fine.
We don't talk about.
Yeah, so these are enemies that would normally give you a pretty hard time, and killing them fast is of utmost importance, but it's really easy to with Virgil because he just does so much damage. It is important to say, though, it's like, just because he does a ton of damage doesn't mean it's simple. Like, each of these jump cancels is actually, like, pretty difficult.
It is.
And getting them that consistent, it takes a long time. And there's a couple of sections, especially the boss fight that we're about to come up to, where having really consistent, fast jump cancels is of utmost importance for doing this.
I just want to
correctly.
mention also that, like, stuff like this, you would think that, oh, well, it's only the third game in the series, but this game, like, evolves the entire system of Devil May Cry combat entirely from 1 and 2. Like, it's such a big step up, and this run right here is, like, a really good example of that. Like, there's so much to do and use as both Dante and Virgil in this game.
100%. So first we're going to be coming up on the not Virgil fight, actually called Vante, because the developers put this Virgil boss, or all the Virgil bosses, in a red coat while you're playing as Virgil in the blue coat, or I guess not the blue coat in this case. So he's called Vante, which is just Dante with a V at the beginning. And we just have to hit him 13 times, and that's when his stun maxes out, in order to just, you know, and then we just bait out an attack from him. That was some RNG manipulation that Waifu did.
Yeah.
And then there we go. And then you just dust him, take him to Duff City.
Just trying to give him the feet, dude. That's all.
That's because the game is afoot.
Yeah, dude.
Like I said, Cosmic, you need to be writing a book. My sister's, about to give birth to her daughter, and her husband just needs these dad jokes. I'm telling you, there's a fortune in it.
Can we?
I'll read your ebook.
Virgil needs the dad jokes too, dude.
That's deep lore.
I think we got a little bit of time for donations here before.
Yeah,
we
that'd be
what's
perfect.
going on here.
All right, well, we have a $500 donation from Voldame, who says, "Hey, waifu, had to wish my favorite runner some good luck during one of his runs. It's always fun to watch you do runs no matter what the game is. Waifu, kick this game's butt, and everyone else, let's kick cancer's butt."
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. You got time for like one more?
And then Saltylicious donates $10, said, "I thought my first ever donation should be for my boy waifu. Good luck with the run."
It occurs to me we're not really explaining what we're. This isn't the tower.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say.
So after we fight Virgil in the normal game, Dante gets really angry. He gets anime powers, and then there's a whale. The whale eats Dante. So now you're inside the whale. I feel like the whale knows. I don't see how not.
Dude.
Like if a Pop-Tart
some
just started
mad
moving
indigestion,
around,
dude.
yeah,
I
would feel it. So or a piece of orange chicken for scale, probably.
Yeah.
We gotta put things in context, man.
True.
But now we are in the whale, flying outside of the tower. Virgil is trying to power up the tower. We got to get out of the whale, back into the tower. And that's
we gotta play as Virgil to stop Virgil from doing Virgil things.
That's the lore,
Reminiscent of a later game.
It really is the whole game.
As like Virgil going through these levels is like his Gary Oak version of this game. So he just like the very beginning of the game, he like goes and wrecks Dante's shop for Dante to find it later, and then he goes to the tower and just visits all the areas that Dante's gonna go to.
He's trying to just see how it goes.
Yeah, he's like,
test the
can he
waters.
get through this? Can he find me?
Is he just gonna get lost and give up, and then the whole story ends, or what? Like,
It occurs to me
Well-
this little worm thing is definitely inside of that whale.
oh yeah, it's
He just
basically
be
the
having-
Goofy boss from earlier, except somehow less annoying.
If
you do
Virgil's
that
the
now.
orange chicken piece, what's the worm?
Oh, is it lo mein or
that's
chow
lo mein.
mein?
The chow mein, I was gonna say.
gotta be
The
chow mein.
So here we're gonna go for a nice little a quick kill here. So it turns out that
They're all quick.
all the kills are quick, okay, but this is a quicker kill. It turns out that the Yamato Air Rave is like super strong, especially the second hit of it. So with Virgil, we can just annihilate this heart here.
Yeah, so this
boss,
is the whale's
go ahead,
heart.
go ahead.
Oh no, dog, take it away. I'm perplexed.
This is the whale's heart, and there's three. Okay, it's about to die. I don't even
It's
know.
gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Orange chicken's
Okay,
got
so that was the
hands.
thing.
That was the whale's heart. So after Virgil had himself a nice cuisine of whale heart, he decided to go back into the tower, and then he decided to meet a nice young lady for Dante that he was going to, play matchmaker with. So first of all, he had to get through her hordes of spiderlings, and these spiders are something. Let me tell you.
They get the
Doesn't
boot,
look
dude.
like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it. They're getting boots to face right now.
I was gonna say,
This is like when you go into the bathroom and you see a spider, dude. This is like exactly how I would take care of it.
if I see
Stop.
what?
Yeah, dude. No, it's not going outside.
It's been a minute since I've been in Arizona. I'll give you that, waifu. But if I walk into my bathroom and I see anything that looks that big, I'm not using a boot. I'm getting a gun.
the gun,
That's
dude.
non-negotiable.
You're getting the summon sword.
I was
yeah,
gonna say maybe the size of that spider is probably just like how it feels to you, just the fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
It's
oh
a
wait, that's not
metaphor,
a,
dude.
That's
The
not
game's
a short
artful.
joke. Okay, I get it.
Not this time, but believe
Not
me, dude,
this
those
time.
aren't in short supply, so I'll have some for you later.
Those of you playing the home game, hi, I'm 5'4".
and we love you for it.
Somebody has to, I tell you.
All right.
It's actually a great time for donations, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get like 2 more.
Well, we have a $2,500 donation
Shmoney.
from Shy Guy 32. He said, I heard there was a $25 train. I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos. It's going towards the Wanda Gamelon incentive.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, B. Please clap.
GD clap, dude.
So this is this the ambrosia? Yeah, this is the ambrosia. This is the key item that's going to be used to enter a boss called Nivan, and Nivan is a lightning witch. She kind of resembles like Morrigan from Darkstalkers, a succubus type of thing. And her whole shtick is also that she turns into a guitar, which Dante gets as a weapon. One of the coolest weapons in an action game, like, period.
Oh, well, that's actually a really good point. Something that's mentioned a few times is that Dante's arsenal does expand, like, in terms of what you get as the playthroughs go on, whereas Virgil is much more steady, stable. So,
Yeah.
although I don't know if I'd say that the power, like, if Dante ever really reaches Virgil levels of just raw Unga.
Like, mechanically, I don't really think so. It's
Not
one of those
really.
things where, like, Virgil's early game, like, how strong he is in the early game really just propels him forward. And he basically just never loses momentum, especially in DMC3, which definitely has the most minimalist of orb routes, I think, across the DMC speedruns.
Just gonna ignore the fact that that dude was just chilling. You just crushed him.
Gave him
You
the
didn't do
boot,
that to
dude.
anybody else. He was just squatting.
So here, Waifu's going to be dive kicking against Nivan's shield of bats, and then he's just going to take it out. And
Oh,
then,
that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That's
So he's
about
just
2
going to
cycles.
just Goomba stomp her there.
That's exemplary, though, of how quickly jump cancels can get away from you. If you catch a hitbox at an awkward angle, it's not as easy as just, oh, I'm near them, let me press jump. You really need to be dead on with your angle. So every time he does hit this Goomba stomp, it's impressive. Worthy of a Subway gift card.
You can
it's
get a
worth
nice
it.
2-cycle here, and it's probably the hardest 2-cycle in Virgil, or the hardest quick kill in Virgil's run. You have to have like pretty much perfect jump cancels the whole time. Just because I missed that one jump cancel, it probably lost me like 10 seconds or so.
Yeah. Also worth noting that, like, every enemy, at least to a degree, kind of has a different, like, I guess sweet spot you would call it, as far as where you're going to jump cancel them. So
Yeah.
you really kind of have to know, like, where you're supposed to jump on an enemy, and that really kind of changes in subtle ways how you approach each of the enemies and how you approach the different rooms and how they're laid out.
Well, and also, you wouldn't really think of it just by how quickly some of these fights go, but something that's nice about DMC runs generally is that since there's such a variety of demons, there's also a variety of resistances to stun and health pools to consider. So you have different quick kill strategies for every type of demon that you run up against, especially in a run like a DMC 4, for example, or 5, and I assume the same for 1, Maxi.
Well, once you get to a certain point in 1, you just kind of holy
Yeah.
water.
Holy water everything.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty-
in the beginning, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, it's a matter of, like, power scaling, and in power scaling in DMC1 is, like, really high. Same with 4 and 5, and 3, as I said, has this really, like, minimal buy list. And Virgil, you don't really scale up, like, as heavy in this run as you do in, like, 4 and 5 Virgil, or even, like, reboot Virgil. 3 Dante and 3 Virgil, you're kind of like the same power level or I guess at a consistent rate, you're like at the same power level throughout the course of the run. It's
Right.
just that, like, the 3 or 4 tools that you have are super good. They change in subtle ways in how you're going to apply them, like you said, but by and large, it's like this game really is at least the runs of it are masterwork, absolutely, in fundamental gameplay and just like total execution.
Yeah, it's really cool. All the Devil May Cry games are good speedruns, even 2, believe it or not. But they all are good speedruns for very different reasons, or are like slightly derivative of each other. Like, for example, Max can vouch, Devil May Cry 1 is a really awesome speed game, but it's mostly about economy and routing, and just like playing very well in the early game and making that last throughout the late game. And DMC 2 is all about Majin Devil Trigger, or like a red tear stone ring type mechanic. But 3 is all about execution. There's like almost no randomness, and like we said, the economy really doesn't matter that much. In fact, I don't even do the optimal routing for Virgil's run. Like this run is probably only like 40 seconds away from world record pace, and I got an A rank on mission 5, but it's not that big a deal because it only affects the run very minorly. And 4 is a nice mix between execution and routing, and I would say 5 is even more so that.
Yeah, I think 5 is probably the most cerebral in terms of just like the amount of variety because there's 3 characters, but
Blame it as Giga Brain.
True, yeah.
It's also very balanced between execution and like money route, orb route rather.
That's very true. So speaking of balancing, these demons are kind of annoying, I guess, but really only because they only become weak when you look away from them. And this game is definitely not DMC 4 in terms of how your character is able to turn on a dime. You have a bit of a turn radius and a turn speed in this game that's really in every Devil May Cry except 4, now that I think on it.
Even in Reboot, I feel like in Reboot they could probably turn on a dime, but it's been a little while.
I did be forgetting that the Reboot. Don't worry about it.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, just in general, like having gimmick kind of enemies like those can be a bit of a setback.
Yes.
But they're not the worst gimmick enemies, but they're definitely annoying, but not the worst.
Yeah, I feel like one of the, I don't know if I would call it weaknesses, but definitely one of the signs of age of DMC3 in the enemy design compared to some of the other titles is that like you have these enemies that have these very binary solutions to them, which, you know, on the one hand for a run that's really good because you can just kind of walk into the room and you know exactly what you need to do in order to take them out. However, if you're trying to like, you know, vary up your attacks and have a nice time like Vash would, because he's better at the game, but it's like in cases like those, it's like I said, it's more of a sign of age.
So right now we're on our, somehow the demons put in a tram system, and we're on our way to our next boss fight with, actually, well technically we're on our way for another key item, but a home dude shows up. Actually, I think would right now be a good time for donations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Go for it.
All right, well, Rage Cage donates $50 saying, always happy to see Devil May Cry 3 at a GDQ, a heavily underrated speed game. Good luck, waifu and couch. And also quickly, $32.10 from Jamie Summers. Waifu is killing this, showing my love and support.
Much appreciated, yo. So we're gonna go into the Beowulf boss fight now. This is actually a fight that I wouldn't say it's harder with Virgil than it is Dante, but it is definitely very different approach.
Yes. And this is where we actually see a little bit of a hidden element to DMC3. So if you notice, every time he gets slashed by the Katana, there's like a much deeper purple effect. There's an elemental resistance chart to DMC3's enemies. Beowulf is the light beast.
Virgil's katana cuts through the realm between human and demon with the power of darkness.
So Beowulf don't like that.
Darkness!
Well, he does get a Heartless and a Nobody later on, so that kind of fits.
Which one is Urizen?
He's the Heartless.
Oh.
He's the Nobody.
What? Do that be checked? I get, yeah.
So now on this mission, we collected an item that is going to give us unlimited Devil Trigger, as if Virgil wasn't Borkin enough. So
lose balance, you die.
The gimmick is that you're gonna be losing HP all the time, though. But since these enemies don't even really get to spawn, that's really never a problem, especially since they give you more HP drops in this level than other levels.
Yeah, this is absolutely, I think at least, the Virgil run sort of personified, at least from a visual standpoint. You have no reason to stay out of enemies' faces. They're not. There's nothing to be afraid of.
So
like
right there actually did a thing. So that sand enemy spawned, but the cart ended, it's because I actually killed the enemies so fast that the cart detected that the cart was over before the last enemy spawned, which is actually super common with Virgil because you just kill stuff so fast. It's actually insane.
I actually really like the idea of Virgil just booking it down that hallway because he just wants to throw hands. He's so
He's got the
desperate
gauntlets
to
in
just,
hand, dude. He's
just
trying to
start
throw
slugging.
hands. Yeah. White orb, by the way.
That's always the awkward drop here is when you get a white orb, which will refill your devil trigger. Like
When you get
they always show up first in this run on this level for whatever reason.
When they don't do anything, because you already
they
have devil
don't
trigger.
do anything. It's like, okay, all right, I guess I'll take the free 3 seconds time loss, I suppose.
It's a funny thing to note as well. There's 3 different types of orbs. There's red orbs, green orbs, and white orbs that are the main ones that get dropped from enemies. And red ones are currency. The white ones give you double trigger, and the green ones give you health. But they're RNG drops. They're random, and you only ever get green orbs if you get damaged. So sometimes you won't get a green orb as Virgil until like really late in the run, just because of like luck and the fact that Virgil does so much damage that sometimes you just won't get hit for like the first half of the game. But I think like the furthest I've ever went without getting a green orb is probably this mission, which is over halfway through the game.
All right, so this fight here, we're actually going to be fighting the Star of Horsing Around. There's actually a cycle. His name's actually Garyon. And the cycle that we want to do here is where your waifu's going to be actually maxing out Garyon's stun gauge and then looping it back into a knockdown. So there's the knockdown there. And then he's just going to be doing enough damage to actually reset the stun cycle. And you're going to see Garyon first get up and do the... Did he do the swing? Okay, he's going to do the swing here. Okay.
Ooh.
So that's the first part there. Then you should be knocking him back down. There we go. Yep. So very nice. Very clean. Down he goes. And the boss just doesn't get to play.
It's good to note that while you are under the effects of the slow world of Quicksilver, all of the hitbox changes are slowed down for the length of the full animation. So the reason that Virgil didn't get hit when that cart was swooping over him is because while you roll, you have invulnerability. And that's for the whole roll. So while he was still recovering out of it, Home Dude was safe. Now this is actually a nice little moment of a minor optimization that you can do with the foot dives or jump cancels in. These are the chess pieces, and of course your main goal is the Goomba Stompage. But as you kill one, the corpse of an enemy in DMC3 can still technically be jump canceled a little bit after they die. So if you end an enemy with a foot dive, you can use that to get a full jump out and transition to jumping on enemy. Just a small little thing to save you just that little bit of a time, less than a second probably.
Yeah, and the Yamato Rave jump cancels are actually just as damaging, if not only a little bit less than the dive kicks. So but it has a much wider range. So if there's a lot of enemies together, I'm going to opt to do the Yamato Raves instead, even though they're a little bit harder, because I can take out a lot of chess pieces at the same time with it. That's more useful on higher difficulties generally because enemies will bunch up together more often. But in the case of more tanky enemies, especially the chess pieces, you're going to see a lot more Yamato Raves instead of dive kicks. And because of the attack's animation, it has a very different type of jump cancel. And that makes it a little bit easier on some enemies.
So here we have Vante 2. What Waifu's going to be doing here is getting Vante to a certain amount of health and then skipping past a certain health threshold, which will skip Vante's Devil Trigger phase here. I don't know if
did
you
I got
get
it. That's going to be close. I did not. That's okay. I'll be able to knock him out of it, though.
Yeah, so normally you would not be seeing this phase at all. Kind of just blew him out of it there. Now he's going to go right to the center here. And then we're just going to finish him off. More Goomba Stomps.
It's fun to note that canonically, Virgil actually stole the gauntlets that Dante would have gotten from Beowulf. Beowulf didn't die in his fight. He ran away, but like, I'll get you yet. and Virgil was the one to score the kill, so he got the weapon. Something similar happens in the final confrontation with Virgil, where he winds up using the sword that's on his back right now without the gauntlets. So you can see where the devs took these different parts from the story to craft his character kit.
Such a weird paradox too, like when you play through this game with Virgil and you're like fighting Beowulf with Beowulf, and it's like, wait a minute. Hold on.
And then you fight Virgil with Beowulf
Yeah.
And then you fight Virgil with Virgil.
Yeah.
Spooky stuff.
That's how Nero was made. No.
The fan fictions, dude.
I think we actually have a little bit of time for donation here. There's a little bit of downtime.
All right, well, we have a $20 donation from, I think, Avu Camu. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. But he says, 2 games at GDQ, you are a legend. And another huge shout out to everyone helping with the event and the viewers at home. Let's kick cancer's butt. Also, Setsuki is best, kill a kill. And then we have a $50 donation from Corrosive Frost, who says, Waifu is a new fan here. He's definitely motivated me to donate again. Keep up the great work, and let's get that Zelda bonus run in.
Heck yeah. Okay, so there's a cool little mechanic that we haven't explained yet that is exclusive to Devil May Cry 3 that I'm going to be using a little bit here in this mission. It's called Devil Trigger Explosion or Devil Trigger Flux. Basically, the gauge of my Devil Trigger up there on the top left under my health, there's a bunch of runes there, some orbs, and if I have more than 3 of them, I can actually hold the Devil Trigger button to charge it up and then let it all release at once. And this does a ton of damage, and it can actually insta-kill and wave clear some rooms. The thing is, with Virgil, you just do so much damage that it's honestly not even worth it to use it most of the time. But this is one of the few sections of the run where it is worth it to use. It's way more useful as Dante.
Yeah, so you're gonna see the runes there just glowing red, and then he's just gonna bust out with the Devil Trigger explosion there. The big, like, wide AoE, like the ripple effect that's coming out.
This is one of the cases where being a bit more, I guess, meter intensive, to put it lightly, is a very good idea for using it for those wave clear purposes. Something that we haven't even touched on yet is the game's focus on taunting as a way to sort of show style. When you stand there for a second and execute the taunt, after that you get a boost in your style rank and also a little bit of DT to use as well. So it's best to time that out for points where you think you're safe, enemies are still spawning in, so you're not in danger of getting hit for standing still, and then you can capitalize on those resource gains.
Yeah, right after enemy wave dies, or like right as they're spawning, is the perfect time to taunt, because you can't do damage to them anymore, and it's just downtime. So you'll see me do that a lot. Like as those chest pieces are spawning, I will taunt, or like right after I kill a wave of enemies, I will taunt while waiting for a door to open. And that's just because like that Devil Trigger is super useful, especially for movement, and trying to squeeze every last little bit of DT out of the run actually saves a significant amount of time. As well as it's important to note that it's never used in this run, but in some of the harder difficulties, like Dante Must Die, there is another taunt that is used. Virgil has a unique taunt. It's like his motivation taunt, his concentration taunt, where he just stands there with the katana and thinks about anime or something, and he just like focuses his chi, his power, and you can actually get infinite Devil Trigger from it. As long as you hold the taunt, it'll just keep on building that Devil Trigger. Unfortunately, not super useful in this run, but a very cool thing that I didn't know until I started running some of the harder difficulties, actually.
Probably where they got the idea for V's book from.
Probably, yeah.
I'm telling you, he do be reading the manga.
It's true. He's on,
do you think...
waiting for the JoJolion to finish right now, dude.
I can't decide if Virgil pays for Crunchyroll or if he just steals anime. He's a villain. Keep in mind, this is not a good dude.
But he's got guts and honor, dude. So he probably pays for Crunchyroll.
Probably. That makes sense, dude.
He wouldn't stoop to stealing, dude.
That's only after he got folded like an omelet by Mundus, though.
True.
Like, he got sent to the Shadow Realm.
That is true.
It's fair to point out.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that the lore of Devil May Cry, this game is called Dante's Awakening. No, this is like Virgil's quest, pretty much. That's the whole series. Like, DMC 1, you realize Dante, like, his brother Virgil is still alive. DMC 2, Dante's upset that Virgil's dead. 3, we get, like, the kid version of him, and he's sick. In 4, you see Virgil's son, and then in 5, you just get Virgil again.
So is this the 5-head like galaxy brain, like it's actually all about Virgil Reddit post we're reading right here, or what?
It's not even 5-head. This is smooth brain. This is 20/20 vision. You got eyes?
Oh my god.
They gave this man so much power.
That's true.
And he still thinks he needs more.
And he still gets beat in every game.
That's pretty true.
Well, that's because villains lose, man. As they'll tell you in anime, you know, like, the power of friendship and love will always triumph.
It's true, dude.
That's actually fake, by the way. Dante got like an insane power up. That's what beat Virgil.
Well, it was because it was Dante's love for his brother, you know?
Dude, don't let Naruto get into this conversation, man. He was destined to be the Hokage from the word go. I'm not trying to hear this.
It's scripted, dude. Anyway, this is mission 15. We've been bantering through it because it's really boring. It's the worst mission in the game. Basically, there's these dials that I have to hit. If you hit them in a specific order, though, you can actually skip a mandatory spider fight. So we doing that. And now I'm setting up for a death warp, and my HP is a little scary, so I'm a DT. But I need to die after picking up the key item. If I die before, I'll get teleported back to the top of this room, and that'll be really bad. So Virgil's platforming is not good. Devil May Cry platforming has always been terrible. So getting back up that room, it is very slow. So we just don't do it. So we just would actually rather just die. So that's what we're gonna do.
I like to think that he was doing that to just steal his nerves. Wait, waifu, what are you doing? You're throwing, dude. Come on.
Oh no, I died. No.
Oh man. Okay,
and even after he hits the checkpoint here, the checkpoint for whatever reason retains the key item that he picked up. So he can just go straight to the elevator here and just put in all 3 of the key items.
You have no idea how gigabrain that was. When I saw you die, I was like, are you okay, waifu?
Like, did he just give up?
The world record run for this?
He just let himself get hit over and over again.
I was like, I get you're tilted, but
me tilted?
We actually have a little bit of time for donations here as well.
All right, well, we have a $25 donation from Hero who says, donating for a great cause and for waifu hype. One of the most dedicated runners I've seen both in and out of GDQ. And Mike Prinkley donates $250 saying, this party's getting crazy. This goes to the Wand of Gamelon speed run. That one's, we've got a little bit left to go. We've only raised 66,000 out of 160,000. We got about 5 hours left on that one. I want to see that one.
I do kind of want to come in here and give waifu like a spicy back rub really quick. When we say that he is one of the most dedicated people, I mean this man hosts his own marathon stream weekly.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's called
true.
Waifuthon, and he is on camera for like 13 hours. And he just does it.
It's fun, man. I
disagree.
I mean,
you need sleep.
Bro, normal humans up for about 18 hours a day. It's fine. I'm
gonna join in on the gassing up though, because y'all don't. I can't understate how much work waifu has put into both the games that he's run at this marathon lately. These are 2 of his favorite games ever, and they're 2 of his favorite runs. And for him to be able to run like both of them at the same event is like crazy awesome.
Yeah,
basically we're
really
saying
honored.
you've peaked.
Well, thank you. I can't wait for the downward spiral, dude. That's
like
gonna be
that
sick.
hairline, it's all backwards from here.
From here, dude. It's
from here.
That's why we got the pomade, dude. The Suavecito is on deck to help us out.
You can have that. I'm looking for Rogaine.
The Rogaine.
Why not both, dude? Why not both?
He's trying to
That's
regain.
why I'm trying to see
dude.
sponsor this. Sponsor GDQ next time. Rogaine, buddy.
The Rogaine.
I'll shill that, man. I'm telling you.
He will, dude.
Hair growth done quick.
It's better than hairlines done quick.
That was last run.
That's true.
That's my life. What do you mean?
All right, so I'm actually going to explain a little bit of what's kind of going on here lore-wise in Dante's run. Is that at this point, Virgil and another villain called Arkham are very close to awakening the tower and making it so that they bridge the gap sort of between the human and the demon world. And at the end of this level, Dante comes across a woman that's been hunting Arkham, who is actually her father. Her name is Lady. She doesn't go by her real name anymore, or her given name, I should say, just because she doesn't identify with it anymore. So she stands in Dante's way because she fights demons, and Dante and Virgil are both half demons. So the boss here is actually divided into 3 phases. She wields like a rocket launcher and some pistols and stuff. And what Waifu's gonna be trying to do is getting her past a certain health threshold so that he'll skip an entire phase where she'll go up onto the bookshelves of this library and then throw grenades down on him. That's Time Lost City. We're not trying to go there. The only place that we're trying to go on this map is Duff City. Unfortunate.
That's absolutely.
That's okay.
The trick to Lady also, by the way, is that whatever direction you see her sort of fly off screen, you go the opposite way, and then she'll always be there. So she went off to the right there. You saw Waifu just kind of go to the left, and then all of a sudden there she is. And then this is the last phase here, and then she's just going to be taken down.
Yeah, I got a little greedy there, and I hit her like one too many times and accidentally knocked her into that second phase. Thankfully, it's like way more recoverable with Virgil. With Dante, that is an absolute nightmare if she goes into that phase.
Okay.
That's okay though. We're on to 17. We're almost done, dude. The run really flies by. And then you realize, oh yeah, platforming. And you're like,
Dude, this is your favorite section. I don't know what you're talking about. I always hear the elation in your voice.
The God
I'm so excited.
chamber.
I definitely haven't lost world record pace runs here several times to just the game being really, really solidly made. Never.
To be fair, the cycles in that, as long as you go through it at a certain pace, they're always the same. So it is another like sort of execution moment, But there's, obviously some things you can't help where, it's a video game after all. You're interacting with it in a third-party way. So not everything is always going to be to your liking, but to be fair to the game, that room is always the same.
And that room is always garbage. What do you mean, Cosmic? Oh, that didn't happen. You can put Neosporin on that. That didn't happen.
So interesting thing to note, these spikes here actually move faster at higher difficulties, but they always do the same amount of damage. And thank God for that, because if you're playing that on DMD, those things are going so fast. It's actually insane. And here we're introduced to some Abyss enemies, the new enemy type. They like to go underground and waste time. But their gimmick is if you knock them back, they're going to run it right into you. Thankfully, the dive kick doesn't have knockbacks, so just give them the foot.
So lore-wise at this point, Virgil has successfully, Arkham has betrayed Virgil and has opened the gateway to hell. So now the two are, like, the human world and the demon world are one. In completing every true weeaboo's test, he is going to face himself in combat in this next boss fight, and then we're going to hell. This game is really on point with its messaging, actually. Think about it.
He's literally going to face his fears, dude. It's all coming full circle.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, it's still Dante, but
it is still Dante.
Yeah, well,
he's making Dante's self.
Wait, is that also the theme of DMC2, trying to merge the underworld, human world?
That's yes, that is all that any.
So Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3 all have like the same goal.
Well, like Virgil wants Sparta's power, which is in hell, But Arkham wants the demons to invade. Like, that's his goal.
And Arkham kind of wants to become Virgil or Sparta himself, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know how he figures that's happening.
Yeah, I don't know either. It seems a little bit
He's going for the super
incorrect.
convincing cosplay. That's what he's going for. So here we're gonna buy a lot of holy waters. That's because the aforementioned Arkham with the really good cosplay, he has a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction and becomes an absolutely terrible boss fight. So we're just gonna save up our money from the whole run so that we don't have to fight him, basically.
Or this, for that matter.
Or this,
these are the chess pieces. So once you like blow up the pawns with the holy water there, you're gonna activate the king. As long as you do some damage to the king when he opens up immediately and becomes active, you'll always be able to burst him down. He'll stay active long enough for you to do so. The D stars are the devil stars there that Waifu picked up as well. In later Devil May Cries, you can actually get different strengths of Devil Trigger stars that will refill like certain amounts. In this, you only have the one type that will always refill it, like all the way. So we pick up a bunch of those in order to speed up a lot of these boss fights, just because the time it takes to menu is offset by the amount of time that we save just by having that full bar of Devil Trigger. Here we're gonna have the run back with Cerberus. Now we're a little bit more upgraded. We've got a little bit more Devil Trigger. Summon swords at max rank. He's just gonna go down.
This is something that's nice about Devil May Cry games generally, is that they have, like, I call it confidence, because I think it's really sick, where they'll have a mission that's just dedicated to running back boss fights that you've cleared, but now you have, like you said, the end game strength. You can sort of see how far you've come.
It's the Capcom classic boss rush, but this one's got a little twist on it. You see that board there? We need to make a circle. We can make any circle we want. You can fight everything if you really wanted that purple or that blue orb fragment. But we're gonna do the fastest route because speedrun, and that's gonna be Beowulf, Agni Rudra, and
Cerberus.
Yeah.
One thing really quickly about Beowulf that I didn't get to touch on last time because he died so fast is he has only one eye, and he's really touchy about it. So this is one of the points where we talked about sweet spots for enemies and where we want to hit them. We want to hit that. But, as you've seen a couple of times now, when you hit that, Beowulf kind of freaks out and he swipes in front of him. So you need to be careful and selective with which attack you're going with in the air. If Waifu uses Yamato Raves, he's pretty much staying at the same height, which is in perfect swiping distance for Beowulf. If he foot dives, he's not getting the benefit of Yamato's elemental damage, but he is able to stay just that little bit safer.
This is the coolest strat in the run.
Yeah, this is the coolest strat in the run. So you're going to use this holy water here, and that's going to cause Agni and Rudra to clash, and then they're going to be vulnerable to Devil Trigger Explosion, and then you're just going to take them to the cleaners like we did before, but no washing machine needed this time. Just soap and water.
Aurochs?
No, the holy water.
So we see style level up again here. It's not like, I mean, I guess it is kind of like an RPG-esque level up system, except it's a lot slower. You can grind out EXP with your styles, but there's no real reason to. Just the natural progression of going through playthroughs will get you level ups at specific points in the game.
Unfortunately, Virgil's style is not all that useful. It's mostly just used for teleporting to get iframes when you're about to get hit, or closing distances with enemies. Unlike Dante's, where his style is like the whole run, basically. Like,
Yeah,
I think Virgil, like Dante's run is really just about like, it's all centered around that one mechanic, whereas I feel like Virgil, and this is what I enjoyed running a lot about this character, is that a lot of this run is really just about like just meshing together a lot of the kit. And even though you like, it really seems pretty simple in terms of like the fights here. True. And though it turns like it seems simple in terms of like the fights here, you really do use like pretty much everything that this character has. So
you do be using a lot of foot dives, though.
True, yeah. I
do
don't
need
deny
a
that.
lot of foot dives.
Yeah.
If we're talking about, I think it's perhaps a bit less of a, well, it's still a mesh, but you're kind of using Gorilla Glue.
True. I mean,
Emphasis on Gorilla.
he definitely put the Gorilla Glue on the Dr. Scholl's to make sure that they stayed in the shoes. And right,
So
here's
this is
Arkham. So
you
go ahead,
got, someone should
go
explain Virgil 3 actually, because Arkham's gonna fly by.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you said someone explain Virgil 3. So, Waifu again has to kind of repeat the Vante or Virgil 3 or Virgil 2 strategy, where he's going to force Virgil or Vante into certain health thresholds in order to make it so that he's going to skip all of the powered up states of the boss, and then he'll be able to just do 3 sets of dive kicks to it. So I think the first set is the first set 10 or 13.
It's 12, 12.
12, 12. Okay, yeah, I misremembered that. I think I'm remembering my strat, but anyway, it's 12, 12, and then 13. And on the 13, the final 13, he'll be using a double trigger explosion as well. The only kind of RNG in it is whether the type of attacks that Virgil is going to be giving him. So I'll let you call for time, man, since it's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, time's on when Virgil's health bar goes to 0, and he'll say a word.
Ridiculous.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Cannot get over how loud this man's controller is.
The keyboard, the controller, man, it's everything.
Everything. He's bunny hopping right now.
3,
That's true.
4, 5,
That's true.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So in that past fight, you thought there would be like a little bit of reconciliation of differences between Virgil and Virgil, but it turns out Vante's just, he's not a cool dude. That's time.
Hey.
That was pretty solid.
You're
I didn't miss the phase skip.
She does
She
have
does.
Dante's pants. Why did you tell me that?
She does, dude. Look at this thing.
Dude.
So since we're wearing an alternate costume, Lady has a alternate costume as well.
I
But
thought
yeah,
she just
that-
had bell-bottom. I hate you.
That, that was Devil May Cry 3, Virgil. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much for having me. This is an amazing speedrun. Really awesome game. I love Devil May Cry 3. It's my favorite video game. And it's got quite a few very awesome speedruns with it. For anyone who's interested in running Devil May Cry 3 or any of the Devil May Cry games, should definitely join the Devil May Cry speedrun Discord. Me, Cosmic, and all the homies there, Maxi is included, definitely down to help you get into any of the games. They're all really cool speedruns. And if you like the run, follow me, twitch.tv/waifu. WaifuRuns everywhere else. And I do those speedrun marathons every Friday where I run a bunch of different games. Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Left 4 Dead, as you may have seen earlier in the event. And thanks so much for having me, guys. Much love, yo.
All right, that was an amazing run, y'all. Thank you so much for that, Waifu. Just got a couple donations that I want to get through here to clear this out. Sebushin donates $25 saying, love playing Devil May Cry 3 with my old childhood friend Miro. Keep smashing it. And then we did get a $100 donation from Bowl, who says, cancer is a horrible thing and fighting it is essential. It makes it easy to donate. Thanks to the runners and crew for putting on this awesome event. Rock on. And now we're going to go to a word from one of our sponsors. The Yeti is the official merch supporter of Games Done Quick events since 2011. Over $1.5 million have been donated to GDQ charities. All of the profits from AGDQ 2021 collection go to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. The collection is available until January 10th at midnight, so go ahead and get your order in before it's gone at www.theyeti.com. All right, we are going to be back. We are setting up for Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island with Calco 100%. We will be right back right after this little break. You are watching Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 online. My name is Bobby Blackwolf. We've got a Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island run coming up next. And we have a $100 donation from Miss Dragon who says, OMG, who is this amazing host? Hi, Bobby. Shout out to all the volunteers that make AGDQ happen year after year. We are so grateful for your time and talents and dedication to the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Please put my donation towards the Zelda Wand of Gamelon incentive. Let's do this. Flattery will get you everywhere. But right now, I want to shine a lamp on some of the prizes that you can get. So Scent is standing by. Scent, what you got for us?
Well, thank you so much, Bobby. And you know what? Why don't we do just that? As mentioned, my name is Scent, and I am here to tell you all about some of the amazing prizes that you can win by donating in the marathon. Now, all of the prizes I'm going to talk about right now are available from now until the end of Skyward Sword, just a little bit later tonight. Or sorry, to Yoshi's Island, just a little bit later tonight. It's the next run, actually. So make sure to get those donations in as soon as you can. Now, as a reminder, when you donate, you don't have to donate specifically for the prizes. You can put that donation towards any number of amazing incentives we have. Incentives like the bonus game, The Legend of Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon, which is just absolutely amazing. It's the opener for Awful Block. You all really want to see it, trust me. I know it's a game that's been memed a lot, and there are a few lines that get said over and over, but if you have never seen a full playthrough of that game, you are missing out on so much glorious Philips CDI content. You have absolutely no idea. I think currently we're just under $100,000 away or so for that, and we've got a few hours to make it happen, so let's go ahead and do it. And to help us get there, let's talk about some of the prizes you can donate for. Now, from our good friend Boat of Bees, I still love that username, Boat of Bees. It's so good. We have a Virgil-inspired Devil May Cry Triple S pin. It's only a $5 minimum donation, but it looks smoking sick stylin'. And you could see a great picture of it if you head over to GamesDoneQuick.com and check out the prize page. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Boat of Bees, for sending it out to us. Now, from Puzzle P, we have this absolutely beautiful Doodles of Invincibility painting. It is a painting on about a 5x5 piece of wood here. It's absolutely adorable. It's got an invincibility star in the middle and a bunch of Puzzle P signatures doodles surrounding it, spelling out all kinds of different words related to the star. It's absolutely adorable. It's only a $10 minimum donation, so get those donations in from now until the end of Yoshi's Island. Thank you so much, P. We have so many great prizes. It's hard to pick what to talk about next. From Myri Lindsay, we have a beautiful Spyro sketchbook. It's just a sketchbook filled with a couple of different types and thicknesses of paper, so you can draw, paint, whatever you'd like on it. Hand-stamped with a cool Spyro logo. It's a $15 minimum donation, and thank you so much for providing that to us. From my good friend Chu, we have an absolutely amazing Yoshi's Island poster. In fact, it's so cool, I really just want us to take a look at it. You can see right there. The design is immaculate. There's so much going on. It's just so colorful. It captures the spirit of Yoshi's Island. It's a $15 minimum donation, and it is magnificent. Thank you so much, Chu. Now, let's see. For a $25 minimum donation, we have this absolutely amazing cross-stitch from Aaron McLaughlin. Just look at this. It is young Link holding the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield, but that's not actually young Link. That is the phrase, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this," stitched into the shape of young Link, and it is magnificent. I love this concept. I love this execution. It might be a little hard to see the lettering from this distance on the camera, but if you head over to GamesDoneQuick.com, you can see a great photo of it, and it is a $25 minimum donation from now until the end of Skyward Sword. As mentioned, actually, that one is running a little bit longer because it's Zelda themed and it looks cool. Can't blame it. It's so good. Thank you so much, Aaron, for sending it out. Let's see, for $50 until Skyward Sword, as a single donation, we have a one-of-a-kind GDQ banner from our artist LLK. It's absolutely beautiful. You can head over to GamesDoneQuick.com, check out a great picture of it. You can actually check it out on our social media accounts. We put them up there. Basically, LLK designs 4 or 5 banners every event. We print out one of each design. They are 6-foot long banners, so quite big. We give each of them to one winner, and that's it. We don't reuse the designs ever. So there you go. It's a one-of-a-kind piece of GDQ memorabilia that you can have, but you got to donate $50 before the end of Skyward Sword if you want to win it. Now, of course, we can't talk about prizes without talking about our grand prize. And boy, do we have a cool grand prize. Because not only do we have one grand prize, we have two. And that makes it twice as cool. Now, both of them are $250 minimum donations, but that's cumulative throughout the entire marathon. So if you donate $50 right now, $50 4 more times throughout the week, you will be entered into both of these amazing prizes. So first off, from our friends over at Red Wolf Networks, we have this absolutely beautiful gaming PC right here. You can kind of see the RGB RAM lighting up on it. It's just a great PC. You can head over to gamesdonequick.com, check out all the specs for it. The important spec that I keep stressing all week, it's got an RTX 3070 in it. That's the info you want. That's the info you need. And the rest of the machine is just as good. Make sure to check out those specs if you're interested. And remember, it's $250 cumulatively throughout the event. And of course, from our friends over at Heroic Replicas, we have an absolutely beautiful opportunity for you, the opportunity to customize a Heroic Replica. Dave has sent over a list of several different amazing replicas that Heroic Replicas produces and different ways in which you can customize them and receive them. And I want to talk about a specific one right now. I actually want to talk about the Chris Sword here from the Legend of Zelda animated series. It's just an absolutely beautiful blade there. It's a tempered carbon blade with a machine bronze hilt and handle. It's got a leather grip and some beautiful resin gem accents in it. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful piece there. And it's one of the options you could choose if you win that grand prize, which again, $250 minimum donation cumulatively throughout the event. Anyway, that's just about going to do it for me. As always, if you have any questions, you can head over to GamesDoneQuick. Oh no, the shroud! Grah, it burns! Does a $20 minimum donation curious Sufflamato?
So, anybody else have the song Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton in their head? Just me? Okay, anyway. So, thank you so much, Sent. Coming up next is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, being run by Calco 100%. Calco was last seen at a mainline GDQ event at AGDQ 2018, participating in 4-way races for both Super Mario World and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. But this is Calco's debut on the main GDQ stage as a solo runner. So I am so excited for this. But I have a history lesson for you. And since I'm on the internet and I'm saying it on the internet, you know this is true. So the developers of Yoshi's Island had to pack so much into the cartridge that they had to cut some major story points out of the opening cutscene. But I have the original design document here. And it turns out the real reason Baby Mario wants to get back home is because he wants to experience the brilliance, the excellence, the majesty of Zelda Wand of Gamelon for the CDI. And Calco's going to do everything possible to get Baby Mario there quickly. Except tonight, Baby Mario wants all the things, so there's going to be some quick detours along the way. But I believe in Calco. But Calco can't do this alone. We need your help to make Baby Mario's dream of seeing all cutscenes in Wand of Gamelon a reality. Have you wondered why Octorok scurry whenever Link's tummy rumbles? Have you ever noticed that when a fuse is lit, the dongos get nervous and you ask, why is that? Well, the only way you're going to find out is if you donate towards Zelda Wand of Gamelon, all cutscenes for the CDI. We only have a few hours left, and we are... How far are we from it? We have $70,000 out of $160,000. So, Twitch chat, I believe in you. All y'all in Discords, the official GDQ Discord, all the various community Discords watching this, I see you. I believe in you too. If we don't do this, Baby Mario will cry. And as we all know, each time Baby Mario cries, 34 frames get their wings. Save the frames. And we have $25 from Fitz that says $25 train for